Hi, welcome to Abnormal Psychology. We're going to have a couple of videos here in the orientation that will help you get familiar with how the course is going to work and how the elements of the course will be located and used, and hopefully get you to a point by the end of the videos that you're feeling confident to start moving ahead. So this video is just to go over the syllabus together and essentially to have you get familiar with what you're going to have to do to earn your grade and how the course is going to work from an academic point of view. And then we'll have another video that orients you to the structure of Blackboard, and then another one that will talk, a third one that will talk about the term paper that you're going to need to write in some detail. So you probably have done this already, but the syllabus is over here on our left-hand toolbar. If you click on that, it brings you to links for our syllabus and for a college policies document. Our syllabus is going to be all of the information that is unique to our class, whereas the college policies document is about all of the information about the college that some professors may put into a single document with your course-specific syllabus, but I've separated them out to make the syllabus document less bulky. So we're going to look at this together and click here again. There we go. And the first page of this is about COVID protocols on campus, and since we won't be meeting on campus, they're not really so relevant to us, but I'm required to include them, so I did. And so we can start here looking at, kind of the information about how you contact me, how you find me. Even though we're meeting as an online class, I do have some classes that are on ground. I will be on campus on Mondays and Tuesdays for at least parts of the day. And so I do have office hours. And I think it would be best this semester to not treat those as drop-ins, though you can knock on the door and I will likely be there. But I am hoping to more treat those as appointment times so that if you know you're coming by, you can reach out to me ahead of time and tell me that you'd like to see me in office hours. And part of that is that some of those office hours are likely to be virtual, and they may be virtual mostly for you guys. But I don't want to have people knocking while I'm on WebEx talking to somebody. And so you can drop by, but there are also virtual appointments. Those obviously have to be appointments since I won't be sitting on a computer screen waiting for people to log in. And so keep this link handy. It'll, obviously you could always come back here and find it on the syllabus, but that is the virtual room where office hours will take place. And I'm available at other times to make appointments if these times don't work for you, so always reach out and ask. My office is in Kinney Hall in 601. My phone number is here. That is not the best way to reach me. You can leave a message there and I will return it. But better way to reach out if you have questions or want to have, have something you want to ask me is email. I am very good about answering email, usually within 24 hours or even quicker. If I don't answer your email within 24 hours, it likely means that I have missed it somehow. So either it didn't get to me or I had 50 emails and I lost track of yours. So always after 24 hours or so, especially if it's not on a weekend, feel free to reach back out to me and simply say, I sent you an email on Thursday, I haven't heard from you, wondering if you've had a chance to look at it. That will never feel rude to me. It will feel like a helpful reminder. Okay, so you've got your course description here. I did send out an earlier message about our textbook and options that might cost you a little bit less money. So if you didn't see that, look on the announcements page here on Blackboard. Every email I send out to you guys will also always be available on that announcements page. So take a look at that for more information. You will need the textbook. You're going to rely heavily on it, so make sure that you have it in some form. The learning outcomes here, I'm not going to go through them in this video, but they actually are a pretty nice outline of what you'll need to know to succeed in the class. What you'll need to be able to do to succeed in the class, so do take a look at those. This grading system is essentially the same as what you'll see in every one of your syllabi at the college. The difference here is that I'm working on a 1,000-point scale instead of a 100-point scale, as we'll talk about in a minute. And so, so that is laid out just with slightly different numbers. But you can take a look at how we'll convert from numbers to letters. But let's spend a little bit more time here thinking about the evaluation criteria, or how you're going to earn your grade with me. As I did just say, we work on a 1,000-point system, and what that means is that all of the that every time you do something, an exam or an assignment, you will earn points associated with that. There'll be a maximum number of points you could earn, and you'll earn however many points out of that maximum. If you earned every point available to you during the semester, you would have 1,000 points at the end. And I think this system, I like this system because it's really transparent, rather than you getting an A on a paper and then trying to figure out what that's going to do for you and doing fancy math. This is really straightforward. You could think of it as you're building towards 1,000. I think it's actually really useful to think of it as if you start with 1,000, and then you can pay attention to what points you're losing and where that's putting you as you come down from 1,000. So either way, you'll see a running total in my grades here in Blackboard, and you'll always be able to see how many total points you have, and then you could always look to see, well, what do I have left that I could earn, right? I have 2 exams left, I have a paper left, and you can see where your total is from there. So how do we get to 1,000? The first is that you have 3 exams. These will be essay exams. They will be online exams, and so they'll be here on Blackboard. They'll be essays, and you will get the essays 24 hours before the exam starts, or the day before, I should say, the exam starts, because it may not be quite 24 hours. You will get those essays from me, and then the exams will be open for a period of days where you can choose when you're going to go in and take the exam. They are time limited. You have 2 hours for each exam from the time you hit begin, but you can hit begin at any point during that open period. And so, you'll get messages from me as we get especially closer to the first exam. You'll get messages from me giving you a little bit more detail. But you do have 3 exams, 120 points each, for a total of 360 out of your 1,000 points. And then each chapter has 2 required Blackboard discussions. In most chapters, this is going to be a small group discussion where you'll be assigned to a small group. The groups will change for each chapter, so it won't be the same people each time. And then one that will be a whole class discussion. So that small group discussion for most of our chapters means you guys are going to be given a case study. In a couple of the early chapters, you're not given a case study, you're given some other material to interact with. So you'll have this case study or prompt that I provide, and you'll be in, the class will be divided like among 3 or 4 groups, and you'll have a very specific job to accomplish while you're, so you'll have specific questions you need to answer. There is, in fact, a worksheet for each one of those small groups that you'll be completing. So you'll have your discussion to come up with the answers for that worksheet, and then you'll be submitting, one person from the group will submit the worksheet to me. There is a rubric on Blackboard that you can look at that shows you what the criteria will be. The overall grade will just be based on how well you guys responded to what I gave you to do. It's not necessarily about right or wrong answers as much as kind of the effort and the appropriate effort and direction of the conversation. But then individuals will either get all of the points that the group had available. All right, so let's say the group gets all of the points, 15 of 15, but you only participated on the last day. You're not getting 15 points, right? So the rubric explains how your individual grade is figured out based on your level of participation. So do take a look at that when you get a chance. So those for each of our chapters, those are 15 points each. That comes out to 195 points over the course of this semester. And then the second discussion is a whole class discussion, what I call the muddiest points discussion, where you're required to post a question about the material for that chapter, having to think about questions, having to think critically enough about the material to ask a question is really a very good way of learning material, and that's why I include it here. And then, so you'll have to do that by the Thursday of each week. We'll talk about our schedule in just a second. And then, excuse me, by the end of the chapter week, you'll have to answer at least one classmate. And using what you've learned, using course material, you'll attempt to help them with the question that they posted. I will also participate in those whole class discussions. I typically won't post answers to questions until others have had an opportunity to chime in, and then I will chime in, either expanding or validating what the answers were, confirming them, or whatever is necessary. Again, those are 15 points each. And that's a total of 195 points. So then the last piece that leads to the 1,000 points is the term paper that you will all write for me this semester. There is a third video that you'll be able to watch that will go into that in detail. So I won't talk about that here, but it is worth 200 points. And there are 2 foundational assignments that come earlier. One is a works cited page where you need to show me that you have all of your sources and you know how to use APA style for that page. And one is an outline where you're demonstrating that your paper is going to address all of the necessary components of the term paper. Both of those foundational pieces really are a way to make sure that that we get you on track if you get off track prior to handing in the term paper. So they're really, I think, helpful in that way. All right, so there are makeups for exams for people who miss the exams at the end of the semester, and there's no penalty for those makeups, but you do have to wait till the end of the semester to do those, okay? And so if we look briefly here at the course outline and the dates, you'll notice that our orientation that we're in now started the first day of class and goes until the following Sunday, so the 29th. But then starting that first full week of classes, starting on Monday, August 30th, we follow, as you can see on here, the same schedule for each chapter. Chapters open on a Monday, they close on a Sunday. And so they open on Monday, all of the material becomes available to you on Monday. Obviously, you have the textbook ahead of time, so if you want to work ahead, you can read the textbook chapter ahead of time. But my lecture videos and other material becomes available on Monday. And then by Wednesday, you need to start participating in the group, the small group you've been assigned to. So that you can't wait until the end of the week. So Wednesday is my expectation for when you start your participation in the groups. Thursday is when you need to make your first posts to that Muddiest Point forum. And then by Sunday, all of that work has to be completed and submitted. So that is kind of the rhythm of the class. Specific dates for specific chapters are available for each of the chapters on Blackboard, and we'll look at that together in the next video so you can see you're not going to be expected to just memorize dates. You can see on here that the exams will open on a Monday and also will be due on a Sunday, and again, as I said, you can go in any time during that time period and start the exam, but once you start it, you have to finish it within 2 hours. The clock keeps going even if you go away from Blackboard or pause, the clock keeps going. And so you can see that how we work through the semester, and a term paper has those 3 components here that you can see, and that hopefully gives you a beginning sense of what we'll be doing. Again, the next video is going to help you understand how you're going to find all this in Blackboard, and then the third video is about the term paper. Okay, so I will see you in the next video.